Hello everyone. As you can see, we are in London and I've got some very exciting exhibits to share with you. But first of all, if you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting that notification bell. It'll just let you know every time I put up a new video. The first gallery we're going to see today is White Cube, and I'm really excited because I've never actually been to their Bermondsey location, and I cannot wait to see it. It looks quite expansive, and this is an exhibit of paintings and works on paper by Michael Armitage and sculptures by Seyni Camara. If you're not familiar with Armitage, he's an artist that was born in Kenya and he now lives between London and Nairobi. And he incorporates a lot of his culture into his works. So, for example, he paints on a traditional bark cloth from Uganda with oil paints. So, if you look closely at his works, you can see that unique texture as well as even rips and sometimes holes since it's not a traditional canvas. And these terracotta sculptures by Seyni Camara provide a really nice complement to Armitage's paintings. So Camara is a Senegalese artist whose work, very similar to Armitage's, is based on, quote, legends, observation, objects, and landscape, as well as her own personal experiences as being a female artist. Armitage has been working over the past 3 years to create the works for this exhibit. He worked in his studio in London as well as outdoors in Kenya. And while you can see some realistic aspects of East Africa in his works, you can see things like landscape and animals and vegetation, his paintings have a fictional quality thanks to this rich color palette as well as the way that he applies the paint, sort of making shapes come in and out of focus in an almost dreamlike quality. And this is something that Armitage is very well known for. He sometimes depicts these colorful, dreamlike scenes in order to convey heavier realities and violent happenings throughout history. And Armitage does this because he says the quote, painting is a way of thinking through something, trying to understand an experience or an event a little better, and trying to communicate something of the problem to others. The paintings in this exhibit, however, convey all kinds of narratives from a wide variety of sources, so not just painful events. Some paintings convey the stories from a novel, some from myths and legends, and of course, some from political happenings of the past, but each one of these tell a story. This is one of my personal favorites of the exhibit, and this is a work titled You Who Are Still Alive, and that shows a figure who's caught in between states of existence. And this is actually Michael Armitage himself there in the Red Sox. He's walking us through some of his works, which is very cool. And this is the White Cube bookstore. I absolutely love it when a gallery has an impressive bookstore attached to it. It's just a great way to continue to immerse yourself and learn more about the artists that they're exhibiting. We're now going to journey over to Mayfair to see an exhibit of paintings by Cecily Brown at Thomas Dane Gallery. So I'll see you guys over there. The last time that I saw Cecily Brown's work was when she had this exhibit at Blenheim Palace a couple of years ago, which was really stunning. I will leave that video linked above and below. Now, for this exhibit, you can see that these paintings would look more at home, almost in a dollhouse than a palace. But Brown is actually known for switching up the scale of her work, so she moves back and forth between large and small scale. And when Brown talks about the process of creating smaller works, she says, quote, "It is a quieter process, definitely. And this is a cliche because it is a lot harder to make a small painting than a big one." A few things that are always consistent in Brown's work are her signature rich color palette, as well as her signature subject matter. So although these are abstracted, you can see, if you use your imagination, landscapes, interiors, hunting and battle scenes. And most of the works that we see here were completed over the past few years, but a few of these have actually been hanging in her studio for many years, almost like companions, each representing not only Brown's aesthetic, but various references to art history as well. We're now going to head over to Gagosian Gallery to see an exhibit of paintings by Mark Grotjahn. This exhibit is titled Backcountry, and all of the works are oil on linen mounted cardboard, which you can actually see when you look closely. I'll try to get some shots of this where the oil really catches the light and it shows off that signature cardboard groove. It was something that I noticed right away when I walked into the exhibit. The title of the exhibit, Backcountry, refers to Grotjahn's experiences ski touring and fly fishing in Colorado. And these experiences influence the works because they're meant to convey how it is to be completely in awe of nature and to just feel how really small we are compared to the vast world out there and the vast universe out there. I can just imagine him looking up at this big black night sky, just seeing stars. And once I imagine that, I can see why he started with this black base, adding these bright bursts of color, particularly yellow. And the gallery concurs, stating the quote, "Ultimately, the paintings in Backcountry convey an embrace of the freedom offered by the scale and power of nature." I'm going to show you a view of the paintings from the side because you can really appreciate the texture of the works from that angle, especially these things called slugs, which are really just globs of paint that Grotjahn has purposefully applied to add more texture. And he's compared them to scars in the past, stating that the quote, "scar on the arm makes the arm more beautiful." And it's true. It really is the various textures in his works that really make them so visually exciting. The final exhibit we're going to see today is at Almine Rech Gallery, and this is an exhibit of paintings by Nathaniel Mary Quinn. Nathaniel Mary Quinn is known for creating these rich, fractured portraits that are inspired by his life experiences, particularly his childhood memories. And according to the gallery, he, quote, "balances the beautiful with the grotesque, the sinister with the benevolent, capturing the complexity of human emotion in a way that is individual and also representative of the human condition." And I honestly think that's such a good description. I couldn't agree more. In terms of inspiration for this exhibit, Quinn cites a few different things as being responsible for inspiring him to create these works. So firstly, he references the fact that his wife works in TV and film as a writer and an actress, and she's really immersed him into her world. And then the second is the Francis Bacon exhibition that was at the Royal Academy of Art in London last year. He's been quoted many times stating how impactful the work of Francis Bacon has been on his own. And as we can see here, each portrait depicts this fractured form, which is meant to represent a memory of a person rather than depicting the actual person as they are in physical form. With memories, they usually come in pieces. We have to assemble them in our subconscious. We kind of make up our own realities in the most honest way that we can. And Quinn really drives this home by saying that, quote, "I don't paint portraits. I paint what is not seen. I paint the internalized world of a human being." So we're not seeing a portrait here in the traditional sense, as in someone's physical form. We're seeing something far more complex. Ultimately, what Nathaniel Mary Quinn wants when people see his work is the following. He says, I, quote, "want people to see my work and see themselves and see the complexity of humanity through my work." That's what it's about. That's it. And that's all for today. I will be bringing you all to some more exhibits in London while I'm here for Frieze, so there will be much more to come. So please stay tuned, and I will see you all in my next video.